Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and today I got some more Battlefield 3 gameplay, and once again I have switched things up a bit. I've turned off my UI. A lot of you guys enjoyed the first time I did this, and I decided that, hey, I had a lot of fun doing it, you guys enjoyed watching it, so I figured let's do another video along this same guidelines. So for today's video, I am once again playing on Strike at Karken. If you saw my first initial video where I turned off my UI, I was also playing on this map, and that's probably for a couple of reasons. The main reason why I gravitate towards this particular map is because it's one of my favorites in the game. The second reason being, there really isn't a whole lot of map rotations going on right now for servers. They mainly stick to the select few, and usually those are the popular ones. But the third reason, and probably the most important thing, is for at least this type of gameplay, is that the map flows extremely well, and I find that I am able to figure out which capture points I should be defending, which ones I should be attacking, simply by looking at the visuals and not having to rely on the minimap and my UI to tell me what capture points are available and which ones I should defend. And the reason I think that is there's a couple of reasons. The first one being is that it's very open for the most part, and this allows me a lot of line of sight on a lot of the capture points, so I just have to look over at the flag and see, is it US or Russian, which is a great indicator. Also, because it's more open, I can see where the enemies are coming from, and I can also see what direction my allies are gravitating towards. If they're all gravitating towards, B, then I'll be like, oh, well, there's probably some action over there, and I should kind of mosey on over into that direction. Not only that, I just find that the map in general is just amazingly made. It flows extremely well, even if you don't have your UI on. I just love the map in general. So in my last video, I actually got a bunch of questions from you guys wondering how I identified who was friendly and who was a foe, and I think most of you already know this answer, but for everyone else who may not be aware, the Russians and the US have a particular uniform that looks very distinct. The Americans have a little bit lighter uniform, while the Russians look much more darker. Like, all of their classes just have a lot darker tone to them. And so when I'm playing as a US soldier, I'm just basically gonna look for and shoot at anyone who looks like they're wearing a dark uniform. And I run into problems every once in a while where I will shoot at an ally who's wearing the black camo, because it's kind of hard to figure out, if they are friendly or foe. And because I am playing a normal server, I'll just take a couple shots on him just to make sure that he's just not going to turn around and blow my face off. And you're going to see here in the video that I do make some mistakes where I will actually think he's an ally running as a black camo, and I won't go for the shot, and then realize my mistake too late, and then they'll take me out. So, which is unfortunate. Something else I've really appreciated, I've always appreciated this about DICE and the Battlefield games, is that they give you a lot of visual cues to let you know what you're fighting. A medic looks completely different from a recon looks different from an engineer, from their uniform, all their accessories, their weapons, and it just makes it so that when you go into, fight toe-to-toe with someone, you know their strengths and weaknesses. So if I'm playing as an assault, I see a recon off in the distance because I can tell it's a recon by his outfit. I'll make sure that I try to get a little bit closer before I engage him so that I am at an advantage and he's at a disadvantage. And I just like that about the Battlefield franchise. And I hate to make a comparison to the Call of Duty games, but everyone I think looks the same. You can customize your soldier if I remember right, but really they can use whatever weapon they want, and the only way you're going to be able to know what weapon type they're using is maybe if you get a glimpse at their weapon, or you've been fighting against them for a while and you just kind of know the pattern that they've been having. But other than that, there's really no visual cue, and that is, like I said, something I really appreciate about the Battlefield franchise, is that I know, who my allies are, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, how they can help me, lay down, a med pack, or lay down a suppressive fire for me as a support class, and I just love that about the Battlefield franchise, and it's something I've not really grown to appreciate. I've always appreciated it, but I appreciate it even more when I do these no UI videos. So something else I think I've noticed is that the more and more I do these types of videos and the more I play like this, I think it's improving my skills in Battlefield 3. And I think it's due in part because I'm so focused on the visuals and the audios around me. Normally when I'm playing, I'm looking at my minimap, I'm checking all of my indicators, and that's completely fine, and that's how you should play the game. But when you don't have that at your disposal, I realized that I've been picking up on smaller things that really amount to a lot. I can, like I said earlier, I'm figuring out the flow of the maps. I know what bases we're trying to capture just by how my allies are moving. I'll even know, like, kind of even smaller things. I'll see an ally round a corner. He'll be playing as a recon. I'll hear him take one shot. I'll hear more gunfire around the corner. Normally I would have known that an enemy was just around the corner because of my mini map, but because I don't have that at my disposal, I will be like, oh, I should take this corner cautiously, peek it real quick, take out the enemy, and then revive my ally. And when I'm able to pull that off with no other cues other than my audios and visuals, it's a very satisfying experience. And, while that wouldn't be needed if I did have my HUD in my UI, it's just so much more gratifying, and I honestly think it's improving my gameplay and just my overall sense of what's going on the battlefield. But overall, if you couldn't tell already, I am having an absolute blast with this type of playstyle, and at least for me, it has really freshened up the game. I mean, I don't do this every single time I play Battlefield 3 by any means, but every once in a while, I will decide to turn it off, and usually, more often than not, I will leave that play session with a smile on my face, because it really is that much fun. And so I wanted to ask you guys, because in my last video, I let, I think, PC users know how to turn off their UI with the command, and I don't think you can do this on Xbox 360 or PS3, so I think you guys are out of luck. But for you PC users, have you guys try this out? And if you have, I would love to hear if you guys have enjoyed it or if you think it's the stupidest thing in the world. You're not going to hurt my feelings if you think that, but I would love to hear if you guys have been having as much fun as I have with this type of gameplay. But yeah, guys, that's about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, but before I go, I would love to hear your guys' opinion on if I should continue on with this type of gameplay. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's really fresh. I don't really see a lot of these videos on YouTube, but if you guys don't like it, let me know in the comment section below, and I won't continue, but if you do, I will, of course, because as you guys can clearly tell, I have a lot of fun with it. But if you guys enjoyed today's video, or just want to support my channel, I always appreciate it when you give my videos a rating, but until next time, guys, have a good one, and take it easy.